Hello and welcome to math. Today we're going to learn about proportions. Okay, first thing we need to learn is something proportional, right? So proportions are two fractions or two ratios that are set equal to each other, right? How do we figure out if they're proportional or not? Well, first we're going to cross multiply, and then we are going to see if the products, or when we multiply, if they're equal to each other, they're proportional. If they're not equal, they're not a proportion. Okay, so let's do this first one here. I have 8 over 5 equals 24 over 15. So the first thing is cross multiply. So when I cross multiply, I literally mean I'm going to take this top number and I'm going to times it to this bottom number. I'm crossing across. I'm making a butterfly. 8 times 15 is what I'm doing. 8 times 15. 8 times 15 gives me 120. So I have 120. All right, so now I need to cross multiply the other way. So I'm going to do 5 times 24. So 5 times 24, 5 times 24 gives me 120. So these two equal each other. When I cross multiply, they equal each other, so therefore it is proportional. Okay, here is one. Let's try this one and see if this one's proportional or not. It's 1 over 6 equals 2 over 7. So if I cross multiply, 1 times 7 will give me 7. And on my other side, I would do 6 times 2. 6 times 2 gives me 12. These two are not equal. 7 does not equal 12. So therefore, it's not proportion. So I'm going to circle it over here. Okay? All right, so what I want you to do, try these two on your own. Circle it over here if it's proportion. Circle it over here if it's not a proportion. All right, pause the video. Try those two on your own. Unpause it when you're done. Check your work. All right, hopefully you paused the video and hopefully you saw these two on the bottom and hopefully you saw that both of these are not proportions, because 75 does not equal 100 when you cross multiply. And I cross multiplied here and I got 55 and 64. Those don't equal each other, so they're not proportions. So the only one that was a proportion was this first one, and that's because when we cross multiplied, we got the same number. They're equal to each other. They both equaled 120. Okay, so to find out if something's proportional or not, all you do is you cross multiply. All right, the next thing we need to know how to do is how to solve a proportion. Okay, so to solve a proportion, that means that we don't know a number or a letter somewhere. So when we have a variable and we don't have an unknown value. So like this one, we have 5 over 8 equals 20 over d. So if we know it's proportional, what we can do is we can cross multiply, right? So we can cross multiply, and then since we have a variable, that means that we're going to get a coefficient. And a coefficient is a number in front of the variable. So that means once we cross multiply, we divide by the coefficient, and that will tell us our missing value. Okay? So let's do this one together. So I would do 5 times d. Well, I don't know what d is. I know there's really a 1 there. 5 times 1 is 5, so it would be 5d. All right, and then I would do 8 times 20. 8 times 20 gives me 160. So I cross multiply, and now I want to divide by the coefficient, the number in front of the variable. So I'm going to divide by 5 to both sides. And the reason I do that is because then those 5's cancel out, and that leaves me with d. And then 160 divided by 5 gives me 32. So then that's our missing value, d equals 32. All right, let's try this next one. I have 7 over z equals 14 over 10. So to figure this out, to figure out what z is, I can cross multiply. All right, so we can cross multiply. So z times 14 will give me 14z. 7 times 10 will give me 70. So now I can divide by the coefficient. So I'm going to divide by 14 so I can get z by itself, because these 14s would cancel out and leave me with z. All right, and then 70 divided by 14 gives me 5. So my answer is z equals 5. All right, so that's how you solve a proportion. All right, there's one more example over here. I want you to try this one on your own. So go ahead and pause the video, try this one on your own. Get it checked by a teacher after we're done with these notes, okay? All right, so let's try this one down here. If I was going to solve this one, I would do 2x times 15. Well, 15 times 2x, 15 times 2 would give me 30. So this would be 30x. And then I can also do 5 times 9. 5 times 9 will give me 45. So I would have 30x equals 45. All right, so then I would divide by 30, right? Just like how I did up there, cross those off. 45 divided by 30 gives me 1.5. So x equals 1.5. All right. This one we would do kind of the same thing. So we're going to cross multiply 4 times 14. 4 times 14. Let's put that in our calculator because I don't know that off the top of my head. All right, so 4 times 14 gives me 56. 56. And this one's just a little bit different, but I'm going to do this k plus 3 times 8. All right, so 8 times k would give me 8k. And then 8 times 3 gives me 24. And it's a positive 24, so I put a plus 24. So then from here, I would do like a two-step equation, right? So I would do minus 24 to both sides, minus 24, 6 minus 4 is 2, 5 minus 2 is 3, so that gives me 32 equals 8k, and then I would divide by 8. Okay, so but the main thing here is when we are solving proportions, we cross multiply, and then we divide by the number with the variable, the coefficient, the number in front of the variable. Okay? Oh, and this equals 4, by the way. It's okay, equals 4. All right, so whenever you have a proportion, you cross multiply, and that's how we get our answer. Cross multiply and then divide by the coefficient. Okay, so a big thing with proportions is word problems. Okay, so word problems. The way you do this, you got to figure out what they're comparing. Okay, so you use proportions when you're comparing things. So there should be two things we are comparing. So what you want to do is you want to set up your proportion and then label it, and then you want to cross multiply and divide. All right, so let's read this one. It says, you read the first 20 pages of a book in 25 minutes. You read 36 pages in 45 minutes. Is the number of pages you read proportional to your time? So they're comparing two things here. They're comparing pages and they're comparing minutes, right? So I have pages over minutes. And what I can do is set up a proportion and try and see if this is proportional or not. All right, so 20 pages. So it'll be 20 pages. All right, out of 25 minutes. So those two are going to go together in the same fraction because they're together. All right, and then it says I read 36 pages in 45 minutes. So then I can cross multiply this and see if it's proportional. So I can do 20 times 45. 20 times 45 gives me, 20 times 45 gives me 900. 900. And then I can cross multiply the other way. I can do 25 times 36. 25 times 36, let's see what that is. 25 times 36 gives me 900. So I got 900 equals 900, and it's yes, it is proportional. So this would be yes, it is. Okay, so the most important thing is setting up this word ratio to help you to figure out where you're putting your information. All right, let's do a couple more problems. All right, this one says 7 inches in 9 hours, 42 inches in 54 hours. So I got to think to myself, what are they comparing? And I'm going to set up a proportion here. So I see that they have 7 inches and 9 hours. So it looks like they're comparing inches and hours, right? So this one says 7 inches and 9 hours. So 7 inches, inches are on top, 9 hours. 9 hours is going to go on bottom. And I'm keeping them in the same fraction because these are together. So then it says 42 inches. Well, inches I have on top, and 54 hours. Hours I have on bottom, so I can put that down there. All right, so it's super important to set up this word problem or this word ratio to help you set up your proportion. Then once you do that, all you do is you cross multiply, and you want to see if they're equal or not. So 7 times 54, let's see what that is. 7 times 54 gives me 378. 378. And then I can cross multiply the other way. I'm going to do 9 times 42. So let's see what that is. 9 times 42. 378. They both equal 378. So these are proportional. Okay? All right, let's try another one. The largest balloon in the parade is 30 feet wide and 55 feet tall. The balloon designer sketched a model of the balloon using a scale of 3 inches to 5 feet. How tall was the designer's sketch of the balloon? Okay, so I see how tall. So I don't care about how wide it is. I want to know how tall it is because it says 55 tall. So I see I'm comparing here inches to feet because I'm comparing a model to the real thing, right? So I'm going to have inches over feet. And then I can set up my proportion. So this first one here, I see it says 3 inches is 5 feet. 3 inches equaled 5 feet. All right, and then it said the real one is 55 feet tall. So feet is on the bottom. They want to know how tall it was in the guy's sketch, in his design. All right, so then that X is going to go on top. We're trying to figure out the inches. So then I would cross multiply. 5 times X gives me 5X. 3 times 55 is I don't know, so I'm going to use my calculator. 3 times 55 gives me 165. 165. So then I can divide by 5 to figure out what my inches are. Divide by 5, divide by 5. 165 divided by 5 gives me 33. So this would be 33. And then I always want to put my unit of measure. So this was in inches, my X that I'm missing. So this would be 33 inches. And that's my answer. Okay? All right, let's try this one down here. It says you can buy 3 t-shirts for $24. Write and solve a proportion that gives you the cost C of buying 7 t-shirts. All right, so what am I comparing? 3 t-shirts, $24. So it looks like I'm comparing t-shirts to money, right? So my first one, it says 3 t-shirts cost $24. And then it says, write a proportion that gives you the cost, C, of buying 7 t-shirts. 7 t-shirts, t-shirts is on top, so I'm gonna put 7 on top, and I don't know the cost of 7 t-shirts. But what I can do is I can make cross multiply and figure this out, right? 3 times C will give me 3C. 24 times 7 is, I have no idea, so I'm gonna use my calculator. 24 times 7 is 168. And then from here, I gotta divide by 3 so I can figure out my cost. Divide by 3, so I'm gonna do 168 divided by 3. 168 divided by 3 gives me 56. So my cost is 56, and this is in dollars, right? So I'm gonna put a dollar sign, so I know it's $56. And that is my answer. All right, my last one here, it says the ratio of green balloons to blue balloons is 6 to 9. So we got green balloons and we got blue balloons. If there are 1,620 blue balloons, how many green balloons are there? All right, so let's set up our thing. We got green balloons, so I'm gonna put a G, and we got blue balloons, I'm gonna put a B. All right, green balloons, it says, is 6 to blue balloons to 9. So it'd be 6 over 9. All right, and over here they told me that there's 1,620 blue balloons. So blue we have on the bottom, so I'm going to put 1620 on the bottom, and I don't know how many green balloons there are. So that's my X, that's my variable. So from here I can cross multiply and figure that out. 9 times X will give me 9X. 6 times that is going to give me a huge number. So let's put this on here. 6 times 1620 is 9,720. So 9x equals 9,720. Okay, so then when I can solve this, I'm going to divide by the number with the variable to get it by itself. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. 9,720. 9,720 divided by 9 gives me 1,080. 1080. So, and then this is what I'm missing, which is green. So 1,080 green balloons. Okay? All right, so proportions. The way you solve them is you just cross multiply and then you divide by the number that's with the letter. Okay? When you have a word problem, what you want to do is find the two things they're comparing and set up a word proportion, a word ratio to help you fill in your proportion and what you're missing. All right? If you ever have any questions, please ask a teacher. If not, I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.